welcome to Plus Sports, a show where we give a different perspective on sports as we look at the stories of athletes who not just amaze, but also inspire. I'm Patricia Bermudez Hizon. Here we will give you not just the latest in the sporting world, but also the stories behind the athletes' struggles, victories, and motivation. We go beyond the stats as we celebrate the great athletic feats with you. With that said, everyone's got their eyes on the Tokyo Olympics, which is now on its 12th day. So here is our take on Tokyo. A few more Filipino athletes took part in different events in Tokyo, including EJ Obiena, who competed in the men's pole vault finals last night. Obiena ended his first Olympic stint by finishing 11th in the men's pole vault final after he was unable to clear 5.8 meters after 3 attempts. The 25-year-old, who is the only Asian competing in the final, was able to clear 5.7 meters after 3 tries and move on to 5.8 meters. Sweden's Armand Duplantis, the world number 1 and current world record holder, won the gold at the event, while Christopher Nilsson of the United States finished with the silver, with Rio Olympics gold medalist Thiago Braz of Brazil ending up with the bronze. But even in defeat, we are still proud of what EJ accomplished last night at the Olympic Stadium and for representing the country very well. Mabuhay ka, EJ. Meanwhile, 17 of the country's 19 Olympians have already competed in Tokyo. And this morning, the last two, golfers Yuka Saso and Bianca Pagdanganan, finally competed in the women's individual event. Saso and Pagdanganan had contrasting starts in round 1 at the Kasumigaseki Country Club. Pagdanganan had a promising start after she birdied the first 2 holes and was still ahead after 5 holes before the top contenders in the 60-woman field made their move towards the top. The 23-year-old ended the first round with a 2 under par 69 with 4 birdies and 2 bogeys to finish tied for 9th as of right now and within striking distance of the leaders. Saso, the 20-year-old winner of the 2021 U.S. Women's Open last June, struggled in the early goings and finished the opening round with a 3 over par 74, which is tied for 48th place. Saso and Pagdanganan still have a chance to move up the scoreboard when the second round of play continues tomorrow. With the Olympics already in day 12, let's check out the latest medal tally with 2 countries in particular still locked in a very tight race on top of the medal standings. As of 1 p.m., China is still on top with 32 gold medals and 69 medals overall. The United States, meanwhile, is close by at second spot with 25 gold medals and 75 medals overall. Host country Japan, meanwhile, has 20 gold medals and 38 total medals, while Australia, which is at number 4, has 14 golds and 34 total. The ROC, or Russian Olympic Committee athletes, meanwhile, have climbed back to 5th spot with 13 golds and 52 total medals. And then you still have Great Britain, Germany, France, the Netherlands, and South Korea completing the top 10 countries with the most medals. Meanwhile, at the 44th spot, the Philippines already has 2 Olympic medals, 1 gold and 1 silver, with 2 more already guaranteed and possibly more on the way. And that is our quick take on Tokyo. The Tokyo Olympics saw a lot of first-timers shine on the biggest and grandest stage of athletic competition. And one of them has been Dallas Mavericks star Luka Doncic, who is playing for Slovenia in the men's basketball tournament. Doncic seemed destined for stardom early on as he played for the Real Madrid and European League and led them to a championship and won the MVP against the best players in Europe, all while being a teenager. So when he made his move overseas and joined the NBA, it wasn't surprising to see him ascend to become one of the league's best young players. But even while his star was shining brightly on the NBA, Doncic never forgot his country of Slovenia and continued to play for them in different international tournaments. And when the team had a chance to qualify for an Olympic spot, he chose not to have an off-season after playing a full season with the Mavericks in the NBA and suited up for Slovenia, helping them reach the Olympics for the first time. But he was far from done in giving his country some Luka magic, with Slovenia currently in the semifinals and with a chance to win an Olympic medal. Doncic didn't let his youth and inexperience get in the way of helping his country make history at the Olympics, and they're far from done. And that is Dallas Maverick star Luka Doncic on our athlete's feet. It's only been a little over a week since weightlifter Heidelin Diaz ended 97 years of waiting and gave our country our first Olympic gold medal. But it's a feeling that we will not forget anytime soon. But in these Olympics, other countries also celebrated some memorable firsts. The country of San Marino has a population of just 33,000 people and has been competing at the Olympics since 1960. And in Tokyo last week, they finally broke through and won their first Olympic medal, courtesy of target shooter Alessandra Perilli. Today, we feature her story and accomplishment here on Women in Sports. The 33-year-old Perilli made history last week when she won San Marino's first Olympic medal after she took home a bronze in the women's trap event. But Perilli was far from done winning, as she later bagged the silver medal in the mixed team trap event. This makes her the first Olympic medalist for San Marino, while making San Marino the smallest nation to win an Olympic medal. She truly blazed the trail for her country, and whatever we feel after our breakthrough gold medal, their country must be having the same feelings after what she accomplished in Tokyo. Even after many years of competing at the Olympics without taking home a medal, the athletes from San Marino persevered until Perilli finally broke through and won them a medal. Even though these medals are silver and bronze, I'm sure they are shining like gold for the nation of San Marino and for Perilli, whose accomplishments at these Olympics did what no other athlete from her country has done before. And that is Alessandra Perilli and the country of San Marino on Women in Sports. There are a lot of hoops action happening right now. We have news on the PBA. The semifinals in Olympics men's basketball are all set, while the NBA free agency continues as multiple teams scramble to add new players in preparation for the next NBA season. Here's everything you need to know about basketball on Inbound. Let's head straight to talk about the PBA with someone who will be joining us here on Plus Sports, a familiar face to many of you, Mr. Vince Hizon, who is a PBA analyst and former PBA player. Thanks so much for joining us, Vince.
Oh, it's really my honor and pleasure. Thank you so much, Patricia Hizon, for allowing me and inviting me. It's great to be on Sports Plus.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you also on Plus Sports. And I hope that you can shed some light on what adjustments the PBA is doing and what the announcement is with the oncoming ECQ and how the PBA will be adjusting their schedule, because there's supposed to be 2 games at the very least today.
Yeah, so well, it's a fluid situation, I guess you could say. A lot of things are still kind of up in the air and not really decided upon. They're moving most probably to the outlying areas that allow sports, especially basketball professionally, probably under a bubble setting. It looks like the PBA will sort of have to redo a bubble if they decide to do it or not. But definitely during the ACQ, they're not allowed to do these games, and I think they're really erring, I guess you could say, if they want to err on the side of safety, so they don't have any problems with of course COVID, and medically everybody's safe.
Being a former basketball player yourself, how does this affect the performance of the players, them not just having their games postponed for the meantime, but also practices?
Yeah, it's again a big challenge for everybody. But the thing of the matter is, it's not just one team; it's every team. So everybody's going to have to adjust similarly. So let's just see how each one can adjust. And again, basketball, you're always getting challenges in basketball. There's always something. There's always other teams. There's always other situations that are really beyond your control. And this is one of them. This is totally, unrelated to, some basketball guru making this happen. This just happened in the world, and everybody's facing it. So, I give kudos and hats down to the PBA for, number one, keeping everybody safe, making it a very big priority. At the same time, really trying to bring back the PBA in any way possible. That's again safe and not just for the teams, but everybody involved.
All right. Thank you so much, Vince, for joining us here on Plus Sports and sharing insights on the PBA. It's day 2 of NBA free agency, and there have been more stunning deals and transactions around the association. While some of the biggest names in free agency are reportedly to remain with their teams, like Chris Paul with the Phoenix Suns, Mike Conley with the Utah Jazz, and Jimmy Butler with the Miami Heat, other notable players will be playing for new teams when the new NBA season tips off. After adding point guard Lonzo Ball on the first day of free agency, the Chicago Bulls are far from done retooling their roster. Their latest addition is guard DeMar DeRozan from the San Antonio Spurs. Chicago added DeRozan in exchange for Thaddeus Young, a future first-round pick, and 2 future second-round picks, according to multiple reports. The Bulls have been one of the early winners of free agency, as DeRozan will join Ball and All-Star Zach LaVine in the Windy City. Meanwhile, after a disappointing first-round exit in the playoffs last season, the Los Angeles Lakers have also been making moves to surround their big three of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook with more talent. One of the team's latest additions is reportedly Portland Trail Blazers forward Carmelo Anthony, who will join the team after announcing the move on his Twitter account. Anthony is a 10-time NBA All-Star who is still a prolific scorer even after 18 seasons in the league. The move reunites Anthony with James, who is one of his closest friends in the NBA. With the free agency still in full swing, it wouldn't be shocking to see more deals made around the league as part of yet another interesting offseason in the NBA. Meantime, from the association, we go to the Olympics. While the craze of the NBA free agency continues, several NBA players are still trying to bring pride and glory for their countries at the Olympics. The quarterfinals of the men's basketball tournament has just wrapped up, with France and Australia booking the last tickets to the semifinals. France withstood a strong challenge from Italy to prevail in their quarterfinal match, 84-75. Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert finished with 22 points and 9 rebounds in their victory, while Evan Fournier added 21 points for the French, who remain undefeated and are looking for a chance to win their first Olympic medal in the event since 2000. Then later on, Australia actually completed the semifinals cast with a dominant 97-59 victory over Argentina in the last quarterfinal match. Guard Patty Mills led the way for Australia, which also remains undefeated in Tokyo. The game also likely marked the last Olympic game of Argentina's OG, big man Luis Scola. The 41-year-old Scola, who played for teams like the Houston Rockets and the Indiana Pacers in the NBA, played in 5 Olympics for Argentina and helped them win the gold medal in 2004. He received a standing ovation from his teammates and opponents when he checked out of the game. That was a really classy move for both teams to send him off like that. Much respect. The semifinals of the men's basketball tournament are set to tip off tomorrow, with the United States facing off against a dangerous Australian side in the first semifinal pairing. Then later on, Slovenia will look to ride Luka Doncic's star power in the first Olympic stint when they battle France for a spot in the gold medal game. That should be really interesting, that semifinals match, as we draw near the end of the tournament. And that's all we have at the NBA and Olympic basketball right here on Inbound. Going back, it's day 12 of the Tokyo Olympics, and yet there are still Filipino athletes competing in their respective sports, and showcasing their talents. And it's really encouraging to see that the country's athletes are not able to just qualify in such a wide range of sporting events, from golf to rowing to swimming. It also shows that the talent of Filipinos is world class and can keep up with the best athletes at the highest levels of competitive sport. We may have gotten that breakthrough gold medal, but our athletes are far from done winning in Tokyo. For more sports stories here and abroad that not just inform but also inspire, catch Plus Sports on Plus Network. That's it for us here. I'm Patricia Bermudez Hizon. Thanks for watching.